So I decided I'm going to work on some videos from an angle like this rather than talking right to the camera. I'm working on. Oh man, this is kind of weird. I was gonna do some typing. I can't type and like look at the side of my head off of this little screen properly. I'm working on a GD for my PI license. I do skip tracing and process serving, and then skip tracing for my own collections. I buy delinquent debt and I skip trace for those. I've just started doing that. Old payday loans. Um, so I'm reading these different law cases right now. I started studying the law 10 years ago when I got out of the Marine Reserves. I got myself kicked out. I got in a fight after a Christmas party. I'd just gotten released from enlisted command to go to officer candidate school. And I was celebrating. I was a substitute teacher because I was a reservist and I was a security guard. And I got in this fight, went to jail, and got myself kicked out. So really quick, I went from like super elated to super bummed out. Um, like 15 minutes, and that was that. I was getting ready to take the LSAT to go to law school. Then I was going to go on a reserve ground side officer contract, come back to San Diego and go through law school and work through law school as at the time thinking real estate broker. Um, I kind of like raw land a lot more, and raw land is a little more. Not that the rest of real estate isn't a thinking person's game, but raw land you can make it into something more, so you can visualize something and then bring other people into it, like bring engineers into something and have them look at something, give either their opinion or make an official report and then show someone else who has maybe more resources to do something. That's what I did once right then. I bought a piece of land. My friend looked at it and he said that the slope it was on was sufficiently shallow enough to where someone could put dirt on it and pack it down and wouldn't need to build a retaining wall. And that was his opinion, and he's a contractor. So I wrote that in the listing that the opinion of a good friend of mine who is a contractor is that you don't need to build a retaining wall. So to do your due diligence, hire an engineer and see if what I'm pointing out is actually the case, and maybe this is a good deal for you. Well, someone took me up on the offer. They built a house there and made their profit. I made my profit. I made $30,000. I had invested 20,000, and I paid for my first attempt at the first year of law school. I mean, I've had financial issues ever since getting kicked out of the Marines. I scored in the 99th percentile on the ASVAB. Um, had 4242 pro cons, at 282 PFT. No, I mean I weigh 265 now. How I was before I started training to enlist. I was an offensive line football coach at high school. Um, but yeah, so I mean I have to do a criminal background check for the PI license. I've been getting cleared through criminal background checks now. Um, I mean, it just I bothered myself so much with the type of situation I put myself in. And I get in arguments with people about little parts of the arrest situation and my discharge and my enlistment. I enlisted at 28 anyways. I was already kind of in this standing grudge match with my own social groups about enlisting too late. Why are you enlisting and not going officer? Because I played a line in high school and I just have had a heavier weight. I can lose weight, I got up to 305 this year on purpose at the gas station. It kind of not to be a thug, but to not have to be a thug. Not that you need to be a thug at a gas station, but people will push you about dumb things. You can just kind of like walk on and be like, no, knock it off. You know, for some reason, people respond to 300 pounds better. Then I just wanted to eat all the hot dogs rather than throwing them away. But I don't know. Doing process serving and skip tracing and security again now finally. It's stuff I can do because I got a DUI that night in 2008 and I got another one in 2014 in my paralegal program. Just like looks so stupid. You have to put like a decade between you and doing dumb stuff like that. But it's because I was mad about my own interpersonal like social group stuff. Um, I prefer having gone through a decade of being at odds with most people who I grew up with, because we never agreed about a lot back then. I think they would do this little playground game with me. I let it go too long because I was a religion major and supposed to be happy stuff. I'm not an unhappy person. I just don't agree with people very often about a lot of different things. I've learned when to open my mouth and when not to. I learned that I gravitate towards what we do in security a lot more. I'm into entry point control. I really like the little like scanner apps that they have now on the iPhone. Like you can scan someone's license plate and their driver's license with the same app, and it'll give you the data right in front of you in text format from OCR, optical character recognition, which is something I'm into with documentation forms. Also, uploading documents that are just scanned and then uploading it through this other API that then spits it back out down to the program or out to the program on our server as text, and then you can data merge that data from endpoints that are organized. Like, this API learns what different documents look like and where the data is. And then that data is actually connected with a field number or type that field type becomes an endpoint, then connects to the other endpoint of the integration program like Zapier. Zapier is great. They're not HIPAA compliant. They say they basically are as safe as, but they don't pitch themselves as HIPAA compliant. But Tray.io is. So, you know, uh, just the specificity of the micro rules of the metadata in documents to me, um, it ties in with my theology work, our textual criticism. There's archaeological textual criticism. You have to be really precise about what does the text even say, what is the most likely text. There was this older theory called Textus Receptus, which means like the most text received. So there's like thousands of this one type of text, and people used to say, "Oh, the logic is that that's probably the most. That's the text." Well, no, not at all. There's other reasons why to think something tiny is the most likely, closer to the original, and that's what you do with formal logic is look at um, what is actually more a compelling answer. Well, the natural law system we live inside of the United States, we have protection of individual rights based on constitutional principle against the tyranny of the majority. So, things just have to be done the right way. And so, um, that type of stuff, I couldn't stop drinking until I made some headway in my career. I don't know what it is about like people looking at me like I'm an idiot because of a fist fight I got into that involved a pitchfork. I broke someone's house window with a pitchfork, drunk in the Marines. So I look like a total fucking idiot, right? But I have a 122 IQ, so I'm not an idiot. Just had to get into something that it's not about respect. It's about not being like it's about talking about the issue at hand. It's not a rather than being dragged into an ad hominem nonsensical argument with someone like me, my past mistakes. I mean, for one, at first it was all pranks and shit. Watching Jackass and CKY in college and being a youth minister, like, ha 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 ha, this is fun. You do that stuff sober. I go off with my buddies and drink and do stupid shit. It's about the same, like youth ministry and screwing around with my college buddies until like it just like I don't know. I thought it was funnier than the other people thought for a little bit of a longer amount of time, so I joined the Marines. Um, that doesn't. I'm not trying to bag on the Marines, but the Marines also have a juvenility level to it that and you can still be a professional, but you can't get in fights like the one I got into. So I really like security. I like data security, and expert law systems, conditional logic. And then I use it for paralegal subcontracting. I call it that. It's contract paralegal work. It's doing paralegal research and writing for attorneys on a case by case basis as a third party business, and also marketing to find people who want to hire those attorneys so that they can hire an attorney who will then use you That's what it is. You have to explain it. People think it's unauthorized practice of law sometimes. That's why it's not good to be vague. That's also why it's hard to market because you have to explain it. You can't just like give like a little sound bite too quickly. I much prefer you for a minute or two going, wait, what? Wait, what? And asking me a bunch of questions, and then because I have a bunch of answers. So I don't know. I hope to be able to put together this OCR element of doc completion forms using Rawsome, the API. It's like having $1 billion software program in your back end just for the data you put in from a little picture you take with, um, you take a picture and you upload the picture. It's how we're going to do it. We're not going to have one of the ones that has the camera and you take it. So you take a picture and upload it from your iPhone. So anyone will be able to avail themselves to the OCR that we make available using Tray Embed and Rawsome. And once our server becomes HIPAA compliant, it's going to be excellent. I don't know. I do kind of like this sideways angle, but maybe my multitude of fans won't. At this point, the point of making this video, I have like one viewer other than me once in a while.